I want you to pay attention here. You see Randle gets the ball here off the inbounds, right? And let me get my pointer up here. See, Randle gets the ball here off the inbounds. He's guarded by Gallinari. Alec Burks is going to start coming this way. And that's a normal thing, right? You pass the ball to one side from out of bounds, you're going to go to the other side of the floor, right? So you can clear some space out. Now, watch here. Boom. Randle turns, looking towards the baseline. Gallinari is pushing him towards the baseline. Now, pay attention here. He leaves Burks. He's coming here, but he's not going to come with a hard double team. He's going to kind of dance around in this area. And everyone else here drops off their man. I'm going to bring this forward just a little bit more. All right, you see it. You see it there now, right? He stops here. Randle sees this. What else is Randle looking at? He's looking to see, can he get it to Burks? Probably not, because John Collins is right here, and he's in good position. If Randle tries to pass it baseline, he's not going to pass it past. He's not going to throw it past him. He can't kick it here. He can't kick it there. Right? Now, he's already turned this way. He can try to pivot back around and come this way. But if he pivot backs around and come this way, he's going to get another quasi-double team this way. These things, I believe, confuses Randle on where he needs to go with the basketball. And it makes it hard for him to get in the paint like we're saying. Because when he comes back around this way and tries to get into that paint, you get another quasi-double team, and he's going to have to kick it back out. What's Randle decided to do here? You know, he could have decided to kick it back out. It's still 9 seconds left on the shot clock. Instead, he pulls up the jump shot, and the Hawks, because they had so many people kind of hovering around the paint, are in good position to get the rebound, and they'll be off to the races. Right? I want to show you one more time the same thing, the same quasi, skip it over there, the same quasi type double team defense. Right? Now, when you see it here, it looks like a 2-3 zone, but it really isn't. Looks like a 2-3 zone, right? You got two guys up here, John Collins on Randle, Capella here, and you got Trae Young down here, but really it's not. I'm going to show you the beginning of this play. You see it's 59-56 in the third quarter, 8:01. I'll show you the very beginning of this play. I'm not going to show it in action, right? But just the very beginning of this play, let me skip it over. You'll see that they're in man, right? It's 8:07, still 59-56. You see they're in man, right? Someone guarding Derrick Rose, Capella's guarding Noel, Trae Young is guarding Reggie Bullock, whoever that is guarding R.J. Barrett, Collins is guarding Julius Randle. They're definitely in man-to-man defense right here. All right, so now I'm going to skip this back. Remember, this is just 5 seconds. It's, it's 8 minutes and 7 seconds in the third quarter. When I skip this back here, you see it's 8 minutes and 1 second here in the third quarter. All the same possession. But what happens is whenever Randle would get the ball, and I just want to go just a little bit, you see Clint Capella, he's not really coming to double team, but he's here. Nerlens Noel is there, but the pass really isn't there. It may look like it's there, but if he goes to make that pass, Clint Capella's picking it off. You got Trae Young dipping in here, so if he goes to make that pass, Trae Young is going to get it. You got, who's that, DeAndre Hunter guarding R.J. Barrett right here, but he's way down in the paint. Same thing here, way down in the paint. This is what Randle sees. So it's hard for him to just get down into the post and score inside, because this is what he's seeing when he gets the ball. They basically did kind of jump into a 2-3 when he got the basketball. So they're playing this quasi-double team type of defense, and he's not sure where to go with the ball. And I think this is part of his complacency. Why he was so complacent. He's trying to figure out where to go and what to do. And what's he do? He swings it out. We swing it around to Reggie Bullock, who's guarded by Trae Young. And Reggie Bullock misses the jump shot. This is difficult. This is difficult. I think it's difficult for Julius Randle to deal with these types of defenses right now. It's something new. He's got to learn how to see the floor and where to go with it. And, I mean, he did the right play. He kicked it back out on that possession. He kicked it back out, swung the basketball. But because it wasn't a hard double team, it wasn't like Trae Young had to come from, all the way under the basket to try to close out. He's still kind of right there.
Yeah, but Sim, one thing that I think the Knicks should definitely do, because for that instant right there, right, when Reggie Bullock did the catch and shoot, I wish he would have paused for a second, see that as Trae Young, and make him work on the defensive end. And I get that, Reggie Bullock's a shooter, but if you recognize that you have Trae Young on you, I believe just for the betterment to make him work, to get him more tired, recognize that, put him in the post, and, make him work, make him earn that on the defensive end. I think that's one thing you got to recognize. I think that should be for I don't care who is on the floor. If Trae Young is guarding you, post him up. I don't care, what it is. Make him work on that end. Because I think last night was a big issue, was that this guy didn't work last night, and he would just had to focus on the offensive end versus just, working on both sides of the ball.
But the problem is we don't have anybody that can post up, that does post up.
But no, Nate, that's not a good excuse, because, again, we've seen Reggie work around that post elbow area. The NBA players, most of them know basic post moves. And again, Trae Young is not going to do that. So when you recognize that, put him in the post. Don't.
But if they don't do it, how do you expect them to? How do you ask them to do it? That's what I'm trying to say. Nate, it's not part of their game.
You gotta recognize that, though.
I think Bullock is the only one it may not be, because Burke did it, RJ did it.
Yeah.
Bullock in that situation could have just faked Trae and took a step or two in and probably got an easier.
But that's all I'm saying, Steph, is that when you see that this guy's on you, make him work. Don't bail him out with the jump shot. Because again, if your jump shot's not hitting, then that's it. That's one thing. So make him work.
The only thing I'm gonna say is,
Bullock do it.
What I'm gonna say is this: I'm not asking my guys to do anything outside of what they're able to do. I don't care who they have on you, because to me, I think that causes more problems than good. If you ask somebody to do something that they're just not accustomed to doing,
with it. Right.
I don't know if it works. I know, logical thinking is, hey, I got this small guy on me. I'm 6'6", he's 6 foot. I'm gonna take him down in the post. But if you don't normally go into the post, it may be strange to you when you get down there and you don't know what to do. I mean, that's why I keep saying it's just not that black and white when you're playing basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that black and white. RJ can do it.
Hey, Sim.
Reggie Bullock can do it. I mean, Burks can do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Sim.
Yeah.
On that defense, so I kind of like that defense to, like in football, where they spy the quarterback if he's going to run and see what he's going to do. I feel like that's what they're kind of doing with that quasi defense, is they're keeping that spy there. They're not totally committing to Randle on the double team, but they're keeping that guy there just so he can make a decision whether he goes out or he goes to Randle if the ball swings that way. Is that would you kind of say that's kind of accurate?
It's hard to say. I don't know because Randle didn't push the issue a lot to try to penetrate it, right? So I don't know.
It just kind of looks like that because he's right in the middle. That person in the paint's right in the middle of two players, and it looks like he's not totally committed to Randle on the double team. But then again, he's also keeping his eye open on the other players to see what he's doing. Right. Kind of like right in the middle.
He's definitely doing that. I guess my question is, if Randle attacks, what's his next move, right? Because everything that you do on a defensive and offensive end is predicated on what somebody else does, right? The person with the basketball. On the offensive end, everything is predicated on what the person with the basketball does. On the defensive end, it's also predicated on what the person with the basketball does. Right. So if, like, for example, if you are running a full court press, sometimes you tell your defenders, don't trap until they attack. Once they attack, now you go trap. If they're just dribbling up the court, we stay cool. right? We don't, because they have control and, you know, they're able to see the floor. So I don't know, you know, we don't know because we didn't see it a lot, what they're instructing Randle, whoever the double teamer is, to do if Randle decides to attack. You know, so this is something. Go ahead, Steph. Now, I was just going to say this is something that Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff, I think, is going to have to. They're going to have to make some kind of adjustment against this, and maybe figure out a way to send some guys cutting to the basket, because you've seen on that play everybody just standing around the perimeter. Send somebody else cutting to the basket, maybe, instead of standing around the perimeter.
Or how about having the guard penetrate?
I mean, Randle had the ball in his hands, right? So he swung it, and then the ball swings, boom, boom. But what I'm saying is, you know, if they move and play this kind of quasi-zone, quasi-double team thing, send somebody shooting the gap to penetrate that middle and let Randle try to kick it to that person penetrating the middle. Or if you send one person to the gap, the defense closes in. Now when you swing, Reggie Bullock is a little bit more open, because everybody had to collapse in because somebody flashed into the middle, into the gap. You know what I'm saying?
The guard J would be perfect for that.
So, yeah. You know, so, you know, they got to look at it and figure out, how do we, you know, stop them from going into this type of double teaming, quasi-double team when Randle gets the basketball.